9th, 2026. Do we have anybody signed up for public comments?
No, sir.
All right, information discussion. Let's start with 2A, baseball firm. And who's going to present for your group? Jay is. Are you going
No,
to
I'm not going to
introduce?
present. I'm just going to introduce these guys.
Please do.
I didn't bring my tap dancing shoes tonight. I don't think Nico did either, to be fair. He's got sandals on, but we're going to make him tap dance regardless. Just want to sing the praises of these guys real quick before I introduce them. It was shortly after the flood last year that we started talking with the group who managed the sports complex prior, and it was just negative this, negative that, negative the other. Don't want to, badmouth them. It's a tough business, as these guys can attest. However, we know what we have here, and we're happy to have these guys on board. They're overperforming, and we want to see that continue. But I've been told by John Junker, the tall guy sitting in the middle here, that his two captains are going to be presenting tonight. So we have Nico Gonzalez and Jeff Quinlan, who are going to come up and tell us a little bit about how it's going out at the sports complex. You can tell these guys have been outside all day. Here you go. Who's first?
I think it'd be Ichiro and lead off. Thank you guys for having us tonight. We're really excited to present to y'all and kind of show you what we've been able to accomplish through the first half of the year, and kind of just give you an overall view of what we're kind of expecting through the summer and then the fall into next year. So this picture was taken one morning at one of the first tournaments, and obviously you can see it's a beautiful picture, and it's one that we use on our Facebook and stuff like that to kind of show what Kerrville really has to represent. So where's the slide thing? Oh, here we go. So the Kerrville Sports Complex, obviously it's under new leadership. We're the baseball firm. I am not originally from Kerrville, but have been coming to this complex for a long time. And since 2018-ish, 19-ish, since I saw it for the first time, I knew that this was one of the best sports complexes that I'd seen traveling around the country. And so when the opportunity came up to be a part of this, it was a no-brainer for me. From the community to the fields to the families and the outside communities that love to come here, it's a pretty special place that we feel like is here in the city of Kerrville. We've been fortunate to host the tournaments this spring so far that have 14 and under. And so what that means, it's 8th graders down, because in the springtime you have UIL sports, TAP sports going on, so the high school kids are obviously doing their stuff in the high school. So just real quick, I'll kind of give you an overview of how we look at it. If you've ever done select sports in baseball or softball, we kind of put our calendar together like you would for one of those type of businesses, meaning from January through May, we're really going to be able to go after the 14 and down kids, because those are the ones who are playing, both boys and girls. Once the summer starts, May through the end of July, maybe the first week of August, is when you can really capture the high school kids. And a lot of the younger groups stop playing because of other things that they do, and it's just kind of the natural ebb and flow. And then you come back, most people take August off because they're doing tryouts or they're kind of getting themselves ready to go. And then September through November is when you can really go back to all ages, because if they're not playing football at the high school level, or young ladies that are playing just softball, you can really capture all of them in the fall. So it's kind of a 3-season tier whenever you're looking at the calendar for how it's run for us. Okay, so you want to talk about the mission?
Yeah. So we have partnered with Youth Baseball on, it's a group called Five Tool Baseball. They're our partner in the youth side of things, and then from a high school side, unfortunately right now we don't have the fields to run high school events. We have 2 high school fields, and then we have 2 dirt softball fields. So we can't play high school events on the dirt fields. So we have 2 baseball fields which can only host 10 team tournament. Which 10 teams is you're not going to get anyone to come here for 10 teams. So we're going to try to get some improvements done to get the 2 softball fields caught up, and we can have a 4-plex to where when he talks about seasons of, hey, we have the first season, second season, third season, as of now, June and July is going to be, it's not going to be what it could be because the complex isn't designed for it yet. So that's something we can talk about, we can work on. That's a big need for this area, is to work on the high school side. But going back to the mission, we wanted to find a partner that did things the right way as far as social media coverage, the arm care health programs that they put in place, the Baseball USA guidelines they follow. So we're working with Five Tool Baseball. That's not to say that we're Switzerland, so everybody can come play here, whether that is Perfect Game, NCS, et cetera, et cetera. So we're not a monopoly on anything here in Kerrville, and so that's kind of our mission.
We also have NCS, USSSA, Perfect Game, and so he touched on that a little bit. And what those are different tournament organizations. And so where some people really kind of put themselves in a hole is they put all their eggs in one basket per se, and they only use one tournament operator and stuff like that. And that really can hurt you in the long run. And so we have not wanted to be that, especially for our local teams. Our local teams want to come and play out there, but they don't want to play the same teams every weekend, and they don't want to play each other over and over. And so by spreading out the different tournament operators that we use, relationship-wise, everything else, it's good for our kids here inside the community to be able to have that many more different styles of tournaments and opportunities. Other things, business summary. We continue to strengthen and presence promoting the Kerrville Sports Complex throughout the state. With that being said, how we do that is with the different tournament operators. The USSSA team that came in a couple of weeks ago, they were from Waco. We're dealing with NCS that is maybe coming from El Paso. And so when we spread out where these people come from, it also helps geographically bring their clients with them. And so that's how that really helps us. We're actively working with the Kerrville Convention and Visitors Bureau, including exploring opportunities for future or to feature the CVB directly on our website and better promote local tourism, city engagement. We want the baseball firm to build relationships with local hotels, restaurants, businesses throughout Kerrville, meaning, whenever we host a baseball tournament, depending on where they're coming from, a lot of the teams stay in hotels. A lot of the teams are going to eat in the local restaurants. They're going to fill up their cars here. They're going to hopefully do and explore the town of Kerrville for everything that it has to give. So we really feel like if we're successful bringing in, people to our tournaments, it's really going to be a success for the city of Kerrville. And so that's what we're really trying to do. Initiatives, we're looking ahead. We're working with nationally recognized organizations. We're putting together different tournaments like we talked about. And we're also trying to do, we'll talk about it in just a second, in the fall, be a place that outside state organizations can also come in and run college level showcases to help kids that maybe are already in college or are kids that are in high school looking to go play at the next level, to create different opportunities outside of just playing game standards, being able to showcase, do all of those type of things too at the ballpark. Here's a little breakdown of the metrics and champions so far. So far, once we're done with this weekend, we'll be at 407 teams that have come through the gate this spring. That's 4,675 players roughly. And then you can kind of see what I was talking about on the bottom left. That's a graph of teams per month. And you can kind of see the colder months. Once you get to April and May, that's kind of the big spike for the 14 and down groups. And then as you get back into the summertime, it kind of slows back down.
And we had 2 rainouts in there as well throughout May and March.
This is just a little breakdown so you can see where everybody was kind of coming from inside the state of Texas. And so we have been able to get a wide range for just starting this spring. 82% of the foot traffic comes from our baseball and softball tournaments. 10% is from the Kerrville Little League, and then about 8% is from the co-ed and senior softball leagues and stuff of that nature, okay? These are all the different communities that the teams have come from, that have visited Kerrville. Obviously, some of them have come multiple times, but we've at least put down the city at least one time if they've come this spring. So you can see the breakdown of where they're coming from. The new changes that we are working on right now, we are actively trying to be the second park in the state of Texas that has the minor league baseball camera stuff that they're going to in the major leagues, which is everything's being called by balls and strikes by AI and automation. And so we're going to be putting up the camera systems on all 11 fields. We're working through that right now. But to give anybody who comes to Kerrville an experience that they're not going to get hardly anywhere else. And so the opportunities for us to have, a new technology like that nobody's seen, and we'd be able to use it at the youth, the middle school, and the high school level, it's really something that's going to stand out, and I really think it's going to be something that gives the park a really cool experience. And on that, it's not going to just be balls and strikes. It's also going to be video, so parents can download the app. They can watch games live. It's going to be live feeds. They're going to be able to get analytics from it, and so it's not just, you know, a red dot, green dot. It's actual technology that they can use for a lot of different stuff to create their portfolios as players.
How many, I'm sorry, how many parks or facilities have that in the state right now, just roughly?
Will be the second.
Would be the second.
The other one's in Tomball, Texas at Premier.
And that's where they use a bunch of the higher level high school tournaments are played there, because this system can give you, you know, launch angle,
RPMs on fastball.
yeah, velocity off the bat, miles per hour, axis speeds, different pitch styles. It can get as nutty as you want as far as how much you want to get into it. But it's just a really, really cool system, because if the parents obviously use the app and do all that stuff, they're able to build a portfolio for their players as far as actual metrics and data that's really captured.
And it solves the parent of parents yelling at the umpires, because it's the balls and strikes will not be inaccurate.
Oh, that never
And
happened.
one thing, because we've gotten this too, I don't know if we have any youth parents and stuff, but the way that stuff works is, you know, youth baseball games, high school baseball games, sometimes the score can get out of hand. And so if you, this is a soapbox, but if you have an umpire that likes to stay tight, right, because we're major league stuff out there, we can open the zone, we can close the zone, we can do things to kind of help the game be a little bit more facilitatable, if that's a word, for the young kids, right? And if that's not, I just made it up. So,
Oh, let me go to that next one
sorry.
right there. So we have a website, thebaseballfirm.com. If you ever want to go check it out, everything's on there, from the Little League to the Senior League to the co-ed. We need to add the CFB. We need to add restaurants. We need to add certain things in the community that we need to nail on. But as far as when tournaments are, who the tournament director is, all of it's on there. So it's a good. In the past, I don't think this has ever had a true website for the complex where anybody can go at any time, check in on any weekend that they want, and see what's there. Click the link, and then if any of the teams register, they can register. So just on that marketing piece there.
and it's really tried to create the synergy between the baseball firm, the complex, and the community, because every time we can get that right the way we want it, every time we send out something about tournaments, our website's going to be on there. So we just want people to click on it, go to our website, and then see what the city of Kerrville and our complex has to offer. The future, what we're trying to do out there, we have some fields that we need a little love to be able to bring the high school type of tournaments that we want to. And what that means is select baseball has become such a big thing, select softball has become such a big thing. There's good players on all these teams, and they're going to want their players to be playing on fields that they know are good baseball fields that they can't get hurt on. So some of the mounds, since we have portable mounds, there's things that we need to replace, that we need to do, some dirt work that we need to do. But next summer we will have high school baseball tournaments here. We're already actively talking to the guys that we need to talk to make sure that they, we get those tournaments. We're going to get those tournaments. That's not going to be a problem. What we got to do is make sure we put the elbow grease into making it a complex that those kids, whether they're ever going to play college baseball or not, can walk on those fields and play baseball and feel comfortable about it. The other thing that we've kind of run into is we're kind of capped out right now at how many teams we can bring out there from the parking space. And so we'll work through that and obviously do whatever.
We're using soccer fields this weekend.
And use the soccer fields this weekend. So that would be the only thing, because once we get to about 54 teams, the games don't move fast enough for people to be moving in and out of the complex. And so we definitely want to make sure we stay within the rules of everything that we need to, but that's just kind of the only thing that we've seen so far. Signage out at the complex, we need to have some refreshed signage for 2027. And when we say signage, more of the ones that say no cleats, no seeds, just the rules of the complex.
Keep the park nice.
Right, the field numbers, stuff like that people use on a tournament basis, right? Just so, and especially the rules part. Shaded areas for participants and fans. What we've thought about is if you've ever been out there on a nice hot Kerrville day and you're standing on that concrete to wait for a concession stand line, and if you're like on the grass and it takes 10 minutes, it can be a little hot. So thinking about a way we always put up the pop-up tents and stuff, but thinking about maybe an awning or something that we could have kind of, maybe not permanently because of the wind, but something that we can shade people as they sit and have a little picnic area, stuff like that, that makes it feel like we're at the ballpark, we can eat nachos, little family picnic kind of deal. So anything that's what a ballpark is, right? It's a family atmosphere to make it feel like a family event. And then, is that it?
Yeah, so I mean, just in closing, guys, Jeff Quillen, he's been doing baseball probably 20 plus years.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I'm in it for 16 years.
I was your coach.
He was my coach in high school. So we got 36 years in this thing. And so we are very excited for what's to come. And we still are going to keep working on improving the ballpark. The more improvements we make, the more teams we bring here and the more love that people can see how amazing Kerrville is. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
If
Any
we have
questions?
questions?
Any comments or questions? Go ahead.
Well, first of all, can you tell me your names? I heard them, but,
Jeff Coolin.
okay. how do you-
Nico Gonzalez.
Okay, Jeff and Nico, okay. And then I just want to say, I spent, gosh, I don't know, 12, 15 years. My husband was a coach, and our daughter played softball. And we brought our own shade and our own food. And I mean, so this is like heaven for someone who's going to be traveling and enjoying games every weekend. So what have you heard from people who come, besides parking, maybe you could use more parking? Have you heard from your tournament people, parents, hey, where's the closest hotel? Or are there things you're hearing that we need to hear as a big picture?
The price point on hotels is pretty high
Okay.
for what they're used to at different areas. They're staying. Some people that I've heard are staying in Bernie over Kerrville because of the price point difference. That's the thing that I've heard is price point at
That's
hotels.
interesting.
Yes, and I'll be good cop. What I hear all the time is how nice the facility is. When these kids come from all these different areas, that's why I can't thank Jay, Ethan, and Steve and their team for what they do, the support, the way those fields look. Steve and his group, they work their tails off out there. And I've told Steve this multiple times. Being a baseball coach for as long as I was in high school, it's hard to take care of one field, much less 11. And when 6 of those are softball fields with a lot of dirt, so it is not an easy job to keep those things in the shape that they're in. And so it's amazing how many people come in and be like, wow, why don't we play here more often? And so that's really been the key, is trying to get the first timers or the people that hadn't been here in a few years back into it, back into the community. And when they do, the feedback from them is very, very good. Very good.
And answer, John reminded me, we are working with 2 hotels in the area to try to work on pricing for 2027. Even to the fact of coaches who travel here who don't have any kids on the team, trying to get them a free hotel room and going the extra mile to make sure that they come here and stay here, giving them different incentives to make it to where they do stay
Oh,
here.
good. Well, that brings me to the other question I had about fundraising. Do you have any plans to do that? And with the tournament fees you're charging, are you able to at least have a balanced budget at the end of the day? Or what kind of fundraising would you maybe perhaps plan, or?
Well,
Signage?
fundraising for us is not really something that we would look to do. What we would look to do is help like the Little League, like Kerrville Little League, to be able to do things to maybe help them with playing opportunities, uniforms, just things that we can do inside there. But as far as us needing to do fundraising for our own,
Well, I didn't know if you had just had someone else doing it. Like,
No.
we used to have sponsors for signs on the fence and
Yes,
all of
ma'am.
that. I don't know if y'all.
Yeah, we still want to explore those options as far as that type of, and just probably use that money to put back in the park, whatever sponsors we're able to get.
Okay, good, yeah.
But yeah, we really want to give back to the community. So all of the money that comes in from all those different locations of cities, we'd like to give to the Kerrville Little League. If there's local select teams that we give breaks to in their tournament dues, et cetera, kind of put Kerrville first there.
Let's play ball. Okay, thank you very much.
We kind of started this whole venture, getting people here to start playing ball in March.
yes, sir.
Yes,
We're
sir.
in June. How many teams have we had so far?
407.
What was your annual goal for 2026?
I believe it's 400.
There you go. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
And y'all have more coming.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, we have whole nother half a year.
But
Good job.
great job. I mean, that's what we asked y'all to do when y'all came in, and y'all have exceeded everything, so thank y'all.
We
Thank you
appreciate
very
that.
much.
Well, thanks for the great work you're doing. It's real exciting to have that much activity going on out there. So thanks for the good work.
I just want to applaud y'all as a citizen who drives by that facility at least twice a day, seeing it last year or even maybe 2 years ago, and my son did lessons out there. So I know how nice that facility is, and so seeing tournaments not taking place and seeing it kind of sitting empty, so seeing y'all drastically turn it around is really great. So
We appreciate it.
congratulations. Thank you.
Great. Congratulations and good work to you and your crews. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you.
presentation.
If you're around this weekend, 72 team softball tournament, 22 colleges here. We'll have Texas Tech here. We'll have some big colleges watching these girls, 14, 16, and 18U. It'll be a packed house this weekend if y'all are bored.
Oh my gosh.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Free entry fee for anybody in this room.
Okay.
My favorite price. Next item is the Kerr Together Legislative Update. I believe Mr. Whitson's going to address us. Oh, I need a cookie. Thanks for being here.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
My glasses. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of council. Before I begin this afternoon, I'm bringing my friends with me to talk about several important subjects. Kelly and our governmental affairs team, y'all want to stand up? Tara's here. Come on up.
Yay, I'm glad you're here.
This is a team effort to key off of the last presentation. We've been working hard to do a lot of things that are hard. And as I mentioned yesterday in my briefing to the county, we'd like to give, I'm here for kind of two reasons. Number one, to kind of give you an update on the operations that we've been doing at Kerr Together, and also to start a conversation about what additional financial assistance we might need going into the next part of the recovery. Since July 4th of last year, I don't have to tell you what a blow it was. But look how far we've come. Working together, everybody putting on the same jersey, and I will tell you from my experience in working other disasters that you've gone far and really have shown up in terms of what this community is made of. Kerrville is a special place. I've found quite an enjoyable experience working with everybody. You're strong, and you're not like some communities I've worked with in terms of getting things done. There are some communities that take 4 to 6 months to even set up their long-term recovery operation. You guys did it in weeks. And it's just a testament to your grit, determination, and all the things that you've brought to the table. So again, I'm very proud to be part of this, very proud of all of your folks that have worked with us. And the long-term recovery operation is a team game. And we have worked with many, many partners. I don't have time to go through all of them, but you know that we've worked with corporations, we've worked with the Community Foundation, we've worked with volunteer organizations after disaster. If you come and seen Club 98, the one-stop shop, you know, you can walk around and see all the organizations that work daily. Obviously, the city of Kerrville, Ingram, we've worked with the county, just a lot of state agencies, universities, and I'd like to give a shout out to Dr. Boswell here with Schreiner University. They've been a top player in this effort as well. So thank you to the whole community for rallying to the cause, and now we are going to work together to go further. I'd like to just kind of highlight a few things Since I've been here, we've been working and we've gotten a few things done. So obviously wanted to share a few things in terms of the top accomplishments. We have created the one-stop shop, and I know that several of you have been through it. The mayor helped us cut the ribbon, so thank you. We have provided leadership to the flood warning system. You didn't have one last year. You have one now. And I'm just the spokesman, but Tara's the real expert in that. And so if you have questions, I'll take all the easy questions. If you have any hard questions, you can ask Tara later on in the presentation. We're going to cover some of that. It really began with the Texas Middle Mile grant. There were $700 million in requests for that money. There was $200 million to give out, and we won 14.7 of it. And that has begun to build the backbone in the electronic highway we need to gather data for the flood warning predictive system. We've actively supported small businesses across the county, in particular, some of the things that they found they needed help with. And I see Mindy sitting here, and she knows what all we've done. Collectively, it's been a real joy to see that part of the disaster come full circle. We've actually done, one of the key things we've done is the healing of the river. The strategy is all hanging on, if we heal the river, we heal the community. And we've done that in 3 specific ways. There's been riparian plantings. We have initiatives to work on invasive species. The most exciting program to me is the trees initiative that the San Antonio Botanical Garden is working with us on. They wanted to collect, last year I was like, oh, y'all want to do that? 100,000 seeds they wanted to collect from native species in the Guadalupe Valley, River Valley. I said, wow, that's huge. They collected 850,000 seeds. And now those seeds have been turned over to the scientists and to their methodology, and they are in the process of growing. And this fall, you have to actually, you can't go plant the trees, you have to be trained to plant the trees, because there's ways we want to do it and put back what I think is a legacy out of this disaster, out of the horrible aspects of this disaster. There will be good things that are happening. Another thing we've done is the multiple public education initiatives. How many have seen the new film out, Healing for the Hope for the Guadalupe? Hands? Yeah. Go see it. It's on YouTube. And it's also going to be featured around the state on PBS television. So we've made a lot of strides there. Again, many partners working together to do great things. Another thing that I'm kind of tickled about is our dive teams. And I see Jay left. Oh, he's there. Okay, he and I have worked diligently with the dive teams, and you would not believe what they have pulled out of the river. In the high contact areas, the swim areas, we want to make sure they're clear, not only for the local people, but for the visitors. And last count, about a week ago, was a little over 31,000 pounds of debris, sharp objects, metal, all kinds of things collected and have been removed from the river. And that's not only just from City of Kerrville, it involves the state of Texas. They have worked hand in glove with us on that effort. So I'm really tickled about that. We've also worked with the emotional, spiritual care and outreach initiatives. And again, I'm coming in here, I've been here 10 months, 11 months. There's some of you that have been here since day one. And it is not a sign of weakness if you want to go get help or you want to talk to somebody, do it. Because having worked many, many disasters, that is a critical aspect that needs to be paid attention to. And the beautiful thing about this is, if there is a beautiful thing, is you've got the resources. The money is there. The help is there. Go take advantage of it. We've organized tourism support activities, the new My Guadalupe Valley program. And I have to give a huge shout out to your director, name's Julie. sorry. She has stepped up in such a large way for that initiative, and we have garnered resources. There will be over $650,000 in advertisement that didn't cost you anything to advertise, hey, come back, enjoy the river again. We're open for business. So I think that was a huge accomplishment. And of course, we've supported organizations with unmet needs, and we had a report today. It's just incredible. And one thing that's not on the slide here, I want to also emphasize is we just received a $35,000 grant from the Rebuild Texas Fund to start a Youth Corps Resilience Initiative. So where we're going to begin teaching the kids how to do this recovery work. And I think that's just a beautiful and wonderful thing to pass the torch, to pass the legacy to a new group. So the second thing I want to talk to you a little bit about is the legislative proposal. You know, I love football. I'm a football kind of guy, so I've tried to use an analogy I could understand, and that is we're at about halftime, if you look at the grand scheme of things. And as one of the voices in the halftime locker room, it's time for us to roll up our sleeves, take credit for what we've done, celebrate what we've done, but plan for the third and fourth quarter, because this whole effort isn't over by a long shot. And what we do in the second quarter and the third and fourth quarter is just as important as the wins that we've racked up in the first half of the game. So we've been working with friends at the Kerrville Chamber, and again, that's why my folks are here with the Governmental Affairs Committee, and they have been rolling up their sleeves, working with me and the other team members. I have to shout out to Michael Hornis, who's also been involved in helping me navigate this space. And we've kind of come up with 4 categories that we want to approach the legislative bodies with and talk with them about. The number one ask would be the flood warning system. We've won, I'll show you, I'll walk through the details. We've won quite a bit there, and we've done quite a bit there. But what else do we need to do? That's our number one ask, our number one priority. What else needs to be done? We also want to build emergency response capacity greater than it was in 2025. We want to mitigate any environmental impacts that are involved in the situation with recovery. And of course, we want to improve any policies that we can at the state level and become a model for how we do long-term recovery and how we lead as we go forward. Real quick, I think you've seen this before, but this just gives you an example of how critical the Middle Mile project was. It basically builds the electronic highway to do the flood prediction modeling in a more precise way. The data that you need to do such high-level calculations is hidden in all the creeks and valleys and along the riverine systems in remote areas. So the electronic highway allows us to begin moving that data from where it's the rain is falling, where the stream is flowing, where the water levels are being recorded, and move it into the Kister's predictive model, which is going to be housed at UGRA. And there'll be other benefits from that, and I see it not only as an electronic highway, but a backbone for our flood recovery system. And there'll be other benefits as well. Moving on with the flood warning system, we built this with 3 different buckets of funds. So that's how you have to do it in government. You kind of have to piece it all together, and we've done that. The first one, of course, is the Middle Mile. The second one is funds we received from the state of Texas that flowed from the Texas Water Development Board to the county and then on to UGRA. And now the really cool thing is we have this new tool built that is being assembled by UGRA called the River Hub. And River Hub is going to be an electronic dashboard. It'll be not quite on your mobile phone yet, but we're getting there. It's best viewed at this point in time on your PC, but it'll be a map. It'll show you where all the rain is falling. It'll show you where the rivers, creeks are rising. It'll show you where things are happening out there in the system. And again, we have done all of this work to begin being able to develop a predictive model, because the whole thing with a flash flood is it's not like in Florida where I come from, unless it's a hurricane. The water slowly creeps up on the Florida Gulf Coast. But here, the water flashes, and it comes fast and furious, and you have to get out in enough time. And so that's the magic of a predictive system, is to give you that time, buy you that time to take evasive action. This basically leads us with kind of a delta between what we need and what we have, and we'll go into the details of that in just a minute. But one of the things that was not done last year in the legislative sessions where they asked that we get all these sirens built is there was no money appropriated for maintenance. In fact, they didn't even know how many sirens we were going to need, and that's the process that we're involved in right now. And we have some figures there to do some ballpark estimates on that. So what are the challenges? How many? How many of these sirens are we going to need throughout the county? And the chief has been active in our working groups, and we're going to have some more comments on that pretty soon too. But if you take this state of Texas guidance and you apply it strictly by the letter, according to their written guidance, we need 134 sirens in Kirk County to cover the entire river. Well, we've already we've installed 6 and we've got 2 more to go, so we have already 8, so that means 126. That's an enormous amount of capital cost plus maintenance and expense. And so our technical team is digging into this issue, and it's tied to where are the flash flood areas and the areas of high hazard. And we're going to begin to have that conversation with the state and narrow this down to what we think is probably a more manageable number, probably somewhere between 20 and 30 sirens, but again, that is yet to be worked out. So looking at the entire system, taking a look at what it all-in cost would be, we're estimating at this point $29.4 million. Like I said, we've had some wins. We're about halfway there in terms of funding that we've been allocated to build the system, but we need more. So we're about 54% in, 45% to go. And again, these are our high-level estimations. If you break that down further, we have about $2.4 million already in that's involved in the process of putting up the sirens that we have on order and that are going. We're actually physically here. But if you take a look at, okay, if we have to add more sirens to the system, what would that cost? And here are some of the numbers that we have broken down. These are high-level estimates. As we learn more about specifically where these sirens need to go, we will refine these numbers and hopefully bring it down further. Again, I emphasize, no maintenance was ascribed to the process, and we will need to figure out how that O&M cost is covered. So then going on to the second pillar of the plan and the legislative conversation, we need to be building emergency response capacity. And I know my friends sitting over here would agree with that. What does that look like? Well, perhaps we need to take the Schreiner University model and expand it and improve it so that it not only can help us, but it can help the rest of the state of Texas. And I think there's a large appetite for that. And we've been working with Dr. Boswell and Dr. McCormick on all those conversations. And of course, the EOC upgrades that the county would like. This is kind of a high-level summary of what those would be, because again, you have to have the technology tools in place to be able to have those communications back and forth between the state and federal government and the locals. The third part of the strategy is mitigation of environmental impacts. We would like to see a very in-depth study conducted. The river raged on July 4th. It moved mountains of material everywhere, all over the place. So you have too much here, too little there. What do you do? And how do you do that without destroying the environment? So we want to go in and have a 2 to 3 year look before you put bulldozers in the river or whatever you need to do to move that material around. So that's part of what that ask is about. I've already mentioned that we have engaged in efforts to address habitat loss, but that's kind of a start. What happens if some of those private sector funding don't come through? What is the state of Texas obligation in that conversation? We would like to make sure that that hole gets addressed either by the initiatives we already have in place or ones that we can put in place working with state agencies. Policy improvements. Hey, there's always ways you can get better, right? And so some of the things we talked about in our conversations were to extend the SB3 timelines. Tara has the responsibility of moving this ball forward, and she says she needs more time. The woman works 24/7. I don't know how she gets any rest. So if she says she needs a little more time, then I think we should consider that seriously. And I'm sure that there are other counties and other river authorities that would agree with that conversation as well. We also would like to see layering of the system. There's more than one way. The sirens are great, and we appreciate the state's help, and we want the state's help. But what else can we do? There's National Weather Service systems that could be put in place with the weather radios. There's also AccuWeather. There's also other two-way communication radio systems that could be built and set up and put in place. There's a multiple layering of systems that we need to do, and also connecting it with the state of Texas road system, so the low water crossings and the flashers and things like that could be set up on the roads. And we also would like to see the weather systems improved. Senate Bill 5 allocated money to several universities to build Doppler radars and other stream flow data that we don't have right now, and engineer that into the predictive model. That could use some help. And I've actually talked to Rice University and Texas Tech and UT Arlington about this, and they're on board with wanting this additional assistance. So how does it all look in terms of policy improvements and what we would need to do that? We're estimating around $3 million to improve the technological aspects of this. Number two, and I'm working with Michael Hornis on this, what about if we were to take the middle mile and we were to provide some financial incentives to the AT&T, Verizon, all of those groups? We could place communication networks on our middle mile backbone and improve the cell phone technology, which is part of the problem in the remote areas of the county. It's not so much a problem in the city, but it is in the other parts of the county. And I think if we were to form a public-private partnership, we might be able to solve that problem. And so again, the idea is, why doesn't that cell phone coverage exist right now? Well, it's because of the capital cost. Let's face it. These companies are not going to spend money if they can't find a way to make it back. So if we could provide some sort of carrot in a partnership, maybe we could see that through and make it happen. And then, of course, a lot of damage to our smaller businesses, to the camps. There's 220 counties throughout the 254 counties in the state of Texas that have camps and that have the small businesses that support those camps. Perhaps we could talk with our friends in Austin and see what they could do about creating some sort of seasonal economic development stabilization fund to ease the blow. And I know Steve's sitting over here, he might buy into that idea. That's one of the things that's needed. There was a heavy burden put on the camping industry and all of the partners that support it when it just came out of the blue. So if you step back and you take a look at all four columns and you add up the numbers, we're looking at about that level of support. The question is, how can we have the conversation as a community to come to consensus on this? Will we receive $85.4 million from the state legislature? I don't know. I know our shot's pretty good, and it's better now than it ever will be, because you have existing appropriations that are available. like in the Texas Water Development Board funding that was allocated. And then you have new appropriations when every time the legislature gets together, they do those appropriations. So that's the conversation we need to have. It's not too early to start that conversation. It's important that we, as the long-term recovery, identify what it is we need and stand up and ask for it. And that's kind of my presentation. And what we want to do is be a leader in this conversation and be a model for around the state. And so that's what we have for you this evening, Mayor and Council. And we would enjoy y'all involving us, getting involved in that conversation. A lot of energy, a lot of people in the working groups. And so we just want to go forward with this discussion and want to get your input.
First of all, thank you for you and for what everyone's done. The flood broke my heart. But then when I saw the people that came to help and have continued to help for months and months, it made me proud to be from Kerrville, from Kerr County. I know that this is a big ask, but I think you're right. I think now's the time to ask. I agree with you.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions, Delane? Or?
I just, the 85.4 does not include maintenance.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Wouldn't have any idea. Well, you won't know until you know how many sirens. and things
Correct,
like
but
that.
I can give you a range, and that range would involve, if the number's 30, you take that math and run it out, and it would be 10% of that capital cost is what the guidance has been from the engineers. Did I get that right, Tara? And then, so if it's 22, then it would be 10% of that number. So it depends on the number you land on as to what the actual cost would be.
Okay, that's a good estimate. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Well, I think the Kirk Together group is doing outstanding work, so as you pointed out, appreciate their hard work. I know they put a lot of time into it, so very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, all of y'all. I know y'all put in many, many hours.
All right, do you have any specific questions for us or specific guidance you would like from us?
Yeah, if you could instruct your management team to kind of continue the collaboration and working with us. If you have specific thoughts or questions later on, let us know. And they're active on all the working groups, and we've just been delighted to work with you and your team. I will say this, congratulations on being selected by the Texas City Management Association for the honor that they gave you. And I can attest to the fact, coming up here several times, that you guys are of that quality, and I love working with you. And we're here to help. We're here to put our shoulder to the wheel and make sure that the second half of the game is as successful as the first half. And again, it's going to take everybody putting on that jersey, everybody pulling together and sending those messages. We met with Senator Flores, we met with Representative Riddell, and there'll be other senators and other representatives you will need to meet with, and we may need your help with that.
Certainly. Well, call on me as needed.
Sir.
And I know city staff has not only collaborated, but led the way in many cases. So
Absolutely.
thank you. And thank you for all being here tonight. Come anytime. We have it every 2 weeks.
That's great.
Air conditioning.
And thank you for letting us be the sheep thief that borrowed Miss Kelly. She's been great.
All right, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is emergency management update, starting with Chief Maloney.
Good evening or late afternoon, so pleasure to be here today. So I had a page flip I was going to do, but I'm going to hold on that and I'll do the Reader's Digest version instead. Today with me is Casey Goodman, so he's the Emergency Management Coordinator. So y'all do remember him after July as being appointed. Got to meet him for there, and he's been instrumental in some of the work that we're doing moving forward. So tonight I want to give you an update on the emergency management kind of overview of things we've been doing. This is a great segue from what just got discussed with the recovery, and give you an idea of the work that we've been doing as part of the Public Safety Working Group and also on our own as the City of Kerrville. One of the things I want to talk about is we're going to talk about the flood prevention and some mitigation actions. And one of the things I wanted to read, because I really like this, came out of Emergency Management Basic Plan concept of operations. And it says, it's our responsibility to protect public health and safety and preserve property from the effects of hazardous events. We have the primary role in identifying and mitigating hazards, preparing for and responding to, and managing the recovery from emergency situations that affect our community. And it is impossible for the government to do everything that is required to protect the lives and property of our population. Our citizens have the responsibility to prepare themselves and their families to cope with emergency situations and manage their affairs and property in ways that will aid the government in managing emergencies. We will assist our citizens in fulfilling these responsibilities by providing public information and instructions prior to and during emergency situations. And so I read that, one of the things we really worked on coming post 4th of July, last April, we worked on revising our emergency management basic plan and really working on that with our current best practices and respective capacity. So we're currently in the process. We have revised the emergency management basic plan, and we're in the process of revising our 22 different annexes that we have as we transition to the FEMA and the Texas Department of Emergency Management recognized the 15 emergency support functions. So we're consolidating them to be more in line with state and federal responses out there. We're doing some reviews. Casey's been doing some yeoman's work on that and kind of get these kind of work together utilizing AI. It's a big undertaking to transition everything that's been in place. And then once we get that, we're reviewing with key personnel on each annex and making sure that they can do some of the tasks that are asked of them, or do we need to make some adaptation to that? So this is going to improve our framework and working plan during emergency. It's going to support our community lifelines that we've talked about since the total eclipse and prior to that. Number 3, so we did an emergency management review. So on June 2nd, I had an opportunity to sit down with the mayor and the mayor pro tem, and we had a chance to review, actually that's what that is, that's the review that we did, and discuss the expectations, the role of city council, emergency management overview, and the basic plan. We did this a year ago, June, help me out, Mayor, 4th, June 4th, we sat down and did the same overview prior to that, not knowing what's coming for there. But so that was a good review, and that's something we will continue on with future council and making sure that we stay up to date or annually. Number 4, we've created, or I've been part of with UGRA and Tyra's leadership over there, the Public Safety Flood Working Group. So that working group is the City of Kerrville Emergency Management Coordinator, the Kerr County Emergency Management Coordinator, Kerrville Fire Department, Kerrville Police Department, Kerr County Sheriff's Office, Hunt Volunteer Fire Department, Ingram Volunteer Fire Department, Centerpoint Volunteer Fire Department, and the Kerrville Area Rural Firefighters Association. So these have come together. We came together last September and really kind of did a little brainstorming on things we saw from the 4th, opportunities for improvement, and really collectively put those together and said, here's some of the framework of what we want to do moving forward. Out of that meeting, we have been focusing on 6 primary objectives with 13 sub-objectives and a lot of action plans from there. So one of the things we really worked on and the focus is enhancing our flood notification process for public, the City of Kerrville, our inclement weather team that we have, and also the public safety. Okay.
Okay. So currently, we're looking at some options, and right now we are in the works creating a MOU, which we have one created for Jam Broadcasting to support community awareness when events are occurring, bad weather to disasters. Right now, we're in the process of kind of identifying the best approach to pushing those alerts out through their system. So we're working on that aspect of it right now. So the other one is going to be the Ranch Radio Marketing Group. We're working with them, getting an MOU in place and kind of identifying some of that going forward. Additionally, we are also working on keeping our staff, that's fire, police department and sheriff's department, those lieutenants and captains out there situationally aware in the times that they need. So we're using what they call Active 911. It's a alerting device that we use in the field that will give us information on calls and information that pertains to whatever the issue is. And we can establish that through a Teams process where we group them together, so they're the only ones that are receiving, to get their crews in place and to be prepared and do whatever the situation may be. So that's in the process of working forward. Again, we are looking at campaigns to, and I think 4th of July, we're talking about setting up a QR code for people to sign up through the RAVE and possibly the Code Red stuff. But I won't speak on the county stuff, but some of that might be adjusted going forward. Just so they're aware and create a distribution list. So when situations occur, especially in the, let's say, 4th of July, they have that ability to be situationally aware and see what's going on with that. So within our group, we've also developed some multilingual alerts. So it's not just, in English. It's a very diverse alerting system, so everybody should be able to be reached at some point in time and understand what's going on. And then when we talk about internally, we look at the inclement weather team. We have a main and a core, and essentially anytime, and we're still working through this and we're going to refine it, but right now I update the inclement weather team on watches and warnings within our area. And so right now, if something comes to me through the state, I just alert the team to let them know, hey, this is could be, or this is happening. Just be prepared if we have to open the EOC. So we set up a time periods in the evening, in the morning, that we might do a Teams meeting, or if we do a full activation, we'll pass that information on as needed. And it's really going to be dependent on the severity of the issue or the disaster at hand. So working through that, just trying to identify some of that, and then how we're going to do it. Are we going to do it a hybrid? Or are we going to be a partial opening, or it's going to be a full opening? And those are based on the levels of activation, and that's usually a 1 through 4 level. So, and then we get situation reports through that to the inclement weather team as things change and update. So everybody's still being situationally aware, and so we'll try to be as efficient as possible. And something new we're looking at and working through dispatch, because they are awake at 24 hours a day, so we kind of have that ability to push out TLETS notifications through the National Weather Service of major event or storms maybe coming in. So when we are asleep, we still are being active in that approach to being that situational awareness. So a lot of that's coming down the chute, and we're still working, but we're seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. So we are making progress and trying to make sure that going forward our community is aware and alert, and feel safe and comfortable. So.
We've also been working on developing a flood response standard operating guidelines. Each individual public safety agency has provided a guideline for situational awareness. So these are 4 or 5 things they would do in a warning, and a watch, a warning, an emergency, flood stages, different things. And the situational awareness helps us as emergency management, because now I know what Ingram should be doing. So it's not their full plan, not a procedure, but it does give us an idea. So it keeps us all on the same page. It keeps us working together out there. We are working on a flood emergency action plan development. Waterway Engineering is developing that for us. We actually are meeting with them tomorrow for kind of a final draft review. We made some adjustments to that and work on there. So the emergency action plan is more specific actions and defines responsibilities for various disasters. So this is specific to floods is what this one is. So where the basic plan is the overarching for the emergency management, And then we have the annexes or the emergency support function groups individually for firefighting, police, whatever it may be. But this one is going to be more specific of what we're doing procedural wise and what we need to do, what Casey needs to do, what I need to do, police chief. So, so it's quite a document and working through that. So we've done the page flip and then we get with them. It's also going to include our independent school districts. So we've also received their severe weather annexes and keeping those up to date. They're required to provide them. So we're keeping those in kind of a repository and a place that'll be noted in there where we can go. Also includes the camp emergency plans. They're also required to get to emergency management. So once again, we'll be putting a repository for the city and the county so we can also see their emergency plans. So in the moment we're having something, we don't need to call and find out what they're doing. We know what they're doing. Now, are they doing it? More importantly. From there, so we're working on a tabletop exercise. So the Texas Institute for Hazard, Risk, and Readiness. So I got it. So in fall of '26, well, I'm on the board for that and honored to be a part of that. So we're working on some opportunities there to really kind of test the system. So real excited about this. This is really big for our community to be able to have this level, this institute here in Kerrville. So real excited about that one. And we have our first kickoff meeting, I believe 18th or 19th. So we'll be getting together. So excited for that. Number 7, we're going to provide citizen education for flood emergencies. So we're working, once we get some of these objectives completed, we're going to be engaging with our PIOs out there for social media press releases with the media outlets, some community education programs you'll see too. A lot of that waterway engineering that is with UGRA, they have a public education campaign. That was one of the really positive things with them also. So that's exciting out there for us. Number 8 is the decision-making emergency action plan flow chart. So this is before the flood. So we have created an emergency action plan flow chart with thresholds. That is in that plan. We revised that. One of the biggest challenges we're having is balancing watches and warnings. Emergencies is easy, but how do we balance some of those? How do we get the right notification and put the right amount of pressure out there so people know, so we don't put everything. Everything comes through the National Weather Service. I receive that now. What is the next level when you need to receive that? And so we're really working on that. We're focusing on 3 levels of flood emergencies is kind of how we're looking at this and taking this approach. The dashboard, all the predictive models, the data that goes in there. In the end, we have to make a determination of what information is going to be shared with the public, with public safety, our city, our county staff, and make a decision on what we're going to do as emergency management out there. Each of those levels can trigger the EOC activation in some form. So we have 4 levels of that with our normal conditions. So we have our virtual or hybrid, we have a partial, and we have a full activation. Of course, the last 4th was a full. You've seen the other disasters that myself and Chief McCall have worked. We've had partial in some of those. It all kind of depends on the disaster. We've worked on mass communication training, so using our RAVE, which is the one we use internally for that. Out of that company, RAVE Mobile Solutions, I believe, is the name of the company. We have an ability from there to push out an IPALS message. IPALS message is what you receive on your phone from National Weather Service. Same concept, same thing. Geofenced area that actually goes out. So we tested those back in March during the public safety facility opening. Right at the opening, we tested that, so the whole state did, and then working through some of that. Since then, we have Charvy and her team and us and the police department, we completed training for our dispatchers and key fire and police emergency operations staff. So on how to use it, and then we're really making sure that a flow chart is developed so we can provide them the ability to make those decisions without saying, I gotta call the chief, so in the middle of the night. So what is that? What are those decisions markers for that? So they can get that notification out through IPALS if it's emergency, call us later, and then we work from there, working with the city manager, the mayor pro tem for there. 9th, we're operational response and field action. So this is during the flood. Talked a little bit about River Hub. We've been working diligently with them. Great This is great situational awareness that they're going to have. It's going to have a dashboard for public safety, and there's also a public version for that. It'll provide intel for precipitation, modeling, flood gauges, low water crossings, road closures. So we look at that now. We've been testing that system for the last few months during rain events to see how much rainfall we've been getting, whether there's a rise in the river, and just trying to continue to monitor that. So great work there. That's coming real close to be able to see. We're using it now, but we're at the public safety and the public for that one. Actually, I think the public is released. It is. Okay, there we go. I do remember that. And then we're working on the notification process for public safety agencies with our standard operating guideline actions based on flood data. So we're trying to determine there, when do we need to give that. Chief Goodman talked about that a little bit in regards to how we notify and how we're going to notify. Chief McCall and his team are working through that dispatch process for there, for those that can get that information to us at 2 o'clock in the morning for that. Number 10, system validation and continuous improvement. This is after the flood. Probably there'll be a functional exercise in spring of 2027, and we'll be coordinating with TDEM or TEEX or another agency to be able to provide that. You bring in outside facilitators for that and test the system that we put in place. Last but not least, so the EOC design. So with our new public safety facility, so we have an ability to have an emergency operations center. That's not a training room. Did appreciate it. Thank you, Chief. So, however, this has more capabilities. So that's what it was designed. That's the plan. When we worked on this together with the public safety facility, we came up with ideas that would make sense for us, for Kerrville, so, and how we would staff that. So we've been coordinating with IT, the GIS, Joshua Young, coming up with some different things that we can provide and have in there, have at our fingertips. So if we need it, we can have it on display. This really also streamlined our EOC staff based on the flood and then the new facility. So we can actually expand the incident to what we would need. So there is that capacity there. So that's another exciting component. And that also brought us to our EOC organization chart and staffing plan and executive group. So these are things that we were able to work on, knowing what we have in the facility, knowing what seats we would want, definitely putting it to the test on the 4th. We had a trial run a year prior with a total eclipse, so we're going to put some things to the test. I'm real excited about that. So, and that is all we have, but this is a team effort. Can't agree more. Gotta love Kerrville, gotta love Kerr County. Proud to be here, proud to be a part of this and be a part of those, and thank you for being part of the Institute. And great things are coming. I like that. We're in the first half, watch the second half. So, questions for myself or Chief Goodman?
Questions?
No, thank you for, that's a lot of work. Thank you very much. Much needed work, and, you know, kudos to what you already did on the 4th. And now it's going to be we'll be even more prepared if there is such a thing. So thank you very much.
Welcome.
Jeff?
You started with the same opening remarks that you started with the mayor and myself last week, so it's that hits home. You know, there's only so much that y'all can do, and it needs to be a responsibility of everybody in the community when we start. Hopefully, we never have to go back down that road again. That's the goal. And but thank y'all so much.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's so much to absorb so quick. Not sure I understood all that, but it's pretty impressive, all the things that you're going through. And that's nice. I have one question about, so the county has an emergency coordinator
Yes,
as
sir.
well. How much coordination is going between the city and the county, for example?
Chief.
So, you know, now that we have a new coordinator, we're working together, not like we were working together when I came in. It's gotten better. A lot of good communication between us both. You know, he comes from the state, so
Okay.
he's got some good ideas, some good processes, some good contacts. So it's really just our relationship is a lot stronger than it has been in the past, and I think going forward it's going to get even better. They're willing to work and share ideas. So
That's
right
good.
now-
Well, his state experience is really good. So he was
Yeah.
at Teton, right?
So he was our county CLO, which is
Yeah.
our liaison officer for us for the state. So So he brings some knowledge and some.
Right. So,
stuff.
anyways, that main thing is you're not,
No. Yeah,
duplicating.
no, he'll be with us tomorrow in our EAP to,
Right.
work on that, so.
Right, right. Thanks.
So all this was, excuse me, related to weather. But you were speaking to, knowing what like the school districts do or what your other, first responders are doing, Ingram, volunteer fire departments. Are you doing, I would presume, but if it's a one-time incident to prop up an EOC, is all of that same of what you just said?
Yes, so we open up the Emergency Operations Center, the city of Kerrville did. So if we open up that, and if it's a flood emergency, obviously, if it's in the city, it's gonna be in the county. So yes, we're working directly with them. The school districts is really one of those that benefits us, because at least we kind of know some of their action, or if school's open, of course, in
Right,
session,
yeah.
but we could talk to them if they're doing routes and stuff.
Okay.
So yes, so we're working closely for some of those.
Okay,
So
perfect.
If that answered the question.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Great. Mayor?
Chief and Maloney and Division Chief Goodman, both the police chiefs that are here tonight. I've really come to rely on all of you. Thank you. The communication was good before July 4th, but it's much better now. So thank you. I think the thing that has been misunderstood, especially among some of our state leaders, is we had a plan and we followed that plan. And at least within the city of Kerrville, that plan was followed to the best of our ability, given the circumstances. I like also that we've mentioned, hey, people within 911 or dispatch, they're awake 24/7. So there doesn't have to be someone awake to say, yes, push the button. They have the authority to act before they can roust us out of our slumber. So that's good. I noticed that the new basic plan has improvements over the plan that was in effect on July 4th. So thank you for your hard work on that. But personally, I rely on you. I rely on your departments. And I appreciate everything that you've done to help not only guide this council, but to make the citizens of Kerrville safer and better prepared for whatever emergency may come our way. So thank you very kindly for all
You're
you've done.
welcome. It's our honor, our privilege to serve our community. So,
Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Lois Street tank update. Mr. Burrow.
I'll be real brief on this one. I know we've got council coming up.
Thank you.
But this is a project that we've talked about for a number of years. This started off back in 2020. We got concurrence from the Water Development Board in 23 for funding assistance. And then with that comes a review period. Design was complete. We took about a year to get Water Development Board review completed. And so that is actually currently bidding. We're going to get the bids in first part of July. Right now, we're looking at July 1st. Hope is that we get good bids, get good contractors, bring that to you in the second meeting in July, first meeting in August, depending on what we need. Get that project started around the early September timeframe. It's going to take about a year and a half, so it would be complete in December of 27. So we just want to give a brief update. Mayor, I know you and I've talked about that a number of times, so that's just why I'm here, is to let you know the status of that one. Any questions?
I think the boat was stuck on a sandbar for a while, and a little nudge from state representatives and state senator helped us out a little bit.
Yes. The irony in that is not, yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
I appreciate it. I drive by that water tank every day. And so that's probably why it's on my mind. I grew up near that water tank. That water tank was there when I was at Starkey Elementary. Okay? Yes, Starkey Elementary existed when I was a child.
We still have the original receipt.
Yeah. It was opened in 1948, and I was born in 61, so never mind. Here's the thing. It needs to be done. I'm glad we're getting past some hurdles. Thank you for being persistent. And hopefully we'll have some good bids and we can get to work.
Yes,
I
sir.
appreciate your persistence on that. Any comments or questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is City Council liaison and interview team selections. For those of you playing along at home, City Council serves, members of the council serve on various committees and boards. And it has been my habit to assign those committees based on seniority, current seniority. Not, in my case, I don't get to count when I was first on in 1990. It's this current council. I was elected to this current council in 2022. Mr. Harris was elected in 2023. Mr. McKinney was elected in 2024. He was part of the group that appointed Ms. Siegerman in 2024. And Ms. Smith is our newest person. So what I would like to do is go through the committees. The ones that I will serve on are the Kerr Economic Development Corporation and KPOC and the Public Facility Corporation, which we just had tonight. The next person in line to select position would be Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris?
I would like to stay on Playhouse 2000, continue to be the liaison for planning and zoning, and I would like to add myself as the liaison for Parks and Recreation.
Sounds good. Next would be Mr. McKinney.
Yeah, then, liaison to the airport board on the EIC, I would, like to continue that, and, I'm, again with Councilwoman Siegerman on the Recovery Community Coalition. I'm willing to continue to do that.
Thank you. Ms. Siegerman.
I would like to just I would like to stay on the Recovery Coalition Committee. I believe the newest addition was the Texas Commission on the Arts. But I'm actually the chair of that, so never mind.
We're currently serving on the Cultural Arts and District on the Arts Committee and the Downtown Advisory Committee.
Yes.
Would you like to stay on those?
Yes, I will.
Plus,
There's no plus, I don't think.
no, plus and
We can give you a
to remain on the Recovery Community Coalition. Ms. Smith, you are currently serving on the TERS number 1. Would you be willing to serve on
Yes,
that?
sir.
This, and you can say no to these, but Brenda Hughes, given her experience in the food service industry, served on the Food Service Advisory Board. Would you be interested in that one?
Yes.
Way to go.
I have a little experience.
I think that really covers every appointment. I will formalize these and give them to Shelley. We have interview teams, and those are important, in my opinion, because when people apply, we often get more applicants than we have positions. And unless someone wants to change them, those have been working.
What about library?
Would you like to serve on the library?
Library.
Thank you, ma'am.
I like books.
Good. I had Smith question mark on the Library Advisory Board, so that's a check. And I'm going to put you on the Food Service Advisory and also TERS 1, which is Economic Development. All right. That didn't take too long, so thank you, everyone. And I'll formalize this in a memo to Shelley, which there is no need to go into executive session, and so
Oh, you did take Main Street off, right?
Main Street is gone, yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one.
I just scratched through it, it's on mine too. but I-
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you for everybody willing to serve on those. It's good for us to be a part of the committee and board process. Sometimes they need a nudge. And it's good for us to nudge them occasionally. All right, I don't see any other, we don't have any reason to go in executive session, so let's have something else. I'm going to go ahead and adjourn the city council workshop for June 9th at 5:35. Next show is